Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Welcome to our third online class. Okay. And today we are going to look at case study called Intensive Subsistence Wet Rice Farming in Ganges, India. Now we are still on rice farming. Okay. Okay, here is a map of a Ganges River basin. Now, Ganges River basin includes three countries, okay, India, Bangladesh, and Nepal. Okay, so this area is very important where the water supply of rice farming come from. In this slide, we're going to look at just an information on climograph of India. As you can see here, the blue bar chart is the amount of rainfall they have receiving throughout the year. As you can see, there are high rainfall during June and July. Temperature is almost constant, okay, not much difference. The annual rainfall of India total is around 1,200 millimeters, and average temperature is around 25.8 degrees Celsius. Now, this is a mind map, what we are going to learn. Okay, we're going to cover it all. Changes in rice growing in Ganges. Okay, now what are the changes that has happened to these rice farming areas? Okay, the first one on the top, green revolution, and you have irrigation, technology, soil conservation, and land reform. Now, these changes is very important because it's improved the method of farming in Ganges Basin. Okay, Green Revolution. What is Green Revolution? During this year, during this Green Revolution, they introduce the HYV, in bracket, high yielding seeds varieties, which can produce more rice production. HYV allows double or treble cropping, meaning they can do rice farming 2 times a year or 3 times a year. And they also use fertilizers and machines on the farm. Money supports such as loans, okay, to buy seeds and equipments. Now, Green Revolution has its advantages and disadvantages. And the advantages, you see, yielding increased 3 times, meaning that, as I said before, they can do double cropping or treble cropping. Okay, they can do farming 2 times a year or 3 times a year. Second point, multiple cropping, and they can do other crops also. They can grow other crops also, not only rice farming. They can do vegetables, they can do um, fruits also. And the point number 4, any surplus or extra, they sell it. And this green revolution can improve their standard of living. And with the money they get, they allow to purchase more fertilizer and to buy machinery. The disadvantages: poor farmer could not afford to buy HYV seeds, fertilizers, and machinery. Then, because of this, some farmers tend to borrow money and end up with large debt. Debt sini maksudnya hutang. HYV seeds needs more water, meaning that they have to use irrigation and fertilizer, which are expensive. Richness in nutrient in lakes, river, or any body of water caused by increasing use of fertilizers. Now, if you use a lot of fertilizers, this can affect other ecosystems such as the lakes and river, where the excess fertilizer can be washed away into lakes and river, which can disturb the ecosystem of the area. Okay. Okay. Number 2, irrigation. Now, what is irrigation? Irrigation is the supply of water. Water supply can be inadequate in the cukup for growing rice, especially if you grow more than one type of crop. Okay, so irrigation is a must. For example, if you tend to grow rice, fruits, and vegetables at the same time, so you need irrigation. Okay, you need irrigation to supply more water. Some areas, they have wells. Okay, what is wells? A hole that are dug to reach underground water. The water then lifted by using shut-off, water wheel, or electric pumps. Okay, this water then fed along open channels to the field. Now I will show you what is shut-off and water wheel in the next slide. Okay, these are shut-off and these are water wheels. Now, the purpose of this is to supply water to the farm area. Okay, next, inundation canals. Okay, it's like a canal of water that supplies to the farm area. Okay, now this canal is connected to the main river. Okay, so uh, when the water supply is actually come from the river. Okay, terraces. Okay, terraces is constructed on sloping land so that the water will flow from the top to the bottom. Okay, so the water will water the rice farm, okay, from the top to the bottom. Now usually uh, the water comes from the rainfall itself, okay. Okay, the third changes in rice growing in Ganges Basin is the use of appropriate technology. Now, appropriate technology is needed, for example, individual wells and with easy to maintain and use simple pump. Now, these people don't want to use expensive equipment, okay, because it's a burden to them if they use expensive one. So they just use what they need, okay, they just use uh, the things that easy to maintain and the thing that use simple pump. Renewable energy resources such as solar, wind, or biogas. Now, this renewable energy is easy to get, okay, but it's quite expensive, especially the solar, wind, and biogas. Okay, expensive to build. They uses local labor rather than machinery. Okay, so since India is one of the high population, so labor is not a problem. No high-tech machine using expensive fuel and foreign spare part. Okay, meaning that they don't have to use the machines. They don't use machines, so they don't use expensive fuel, and also they don't have to do maintenance. Okay, okay, especially if the maintenance parts are from other country, you have to import it if you want to maintain it. Okay. Okay, changes of rice growing in Ganges Basin. Number 4, soil conservation. Now, to stop erosion of topsoil, conservation schemes are needed. Okay, we need to conserve the soil. Okay, we need to stop soil erosion from happening. Okay, the first way is to build terraces on slope. This can reduce the soil erosion. Plant cover crop when the land is not in use. Plant cover crop here, I will show you in the next slide. It is a plant that they plant when out of the season. Okay, like for example, if they are not farming rice, okay, so they plant other things, okay, so that uh, it can reduce the soil erosion, it can stop the soil erosion. Build or plant windbreaks to prevent wind soil erosion. This also I will show you in the next slide what it means by windbreaks. Add manure and straw to soil. Okay, manure is natural fertilizer, and straw to soil. Straw ini is like dry grass, and they just put it on the soil, okay, on the top of the soil, so that the soil is keep intact. Okay, the plant cover crops when the land is not in use. The reason for this, for off season, during dry season or during winter season when they don't use the land for rice farming. Here are the example of cover crops. Okay, some of the examples of cover crop that they can grow. Okay, there are many types of cover crop they can grow during off season. Remember, they do this not during the rice farming. Okay, build plant build or plant windbreaks to prevent windstorm erosion. This is an example. It is like you plant the trees, okay, just like a fence, macam pagar, okay, to protect your farmland, okay, to protect from uh, wind soil erosion. Cow dung or manure, uh, natural fertilizer, and straw, okay, a dry grass, they just put it on the soil. Okay, the last part is the land reform. Now, what is land reform? It is the redistribution of land from rich to poor. In other words, macam tanah tu diorang bahagi-bahagi, okay, daripada orang kaya ke orang miskin. Okay, so uh, they get even number of even size of uh, um, farmland. Okay, semua dapat sama rata. Okay, the aim of this land reform is to increase farm size for small landowner. Jadinya for those poor farmers that has small land, so with this land reform, diorang boleh dapat bigger land from rich people. Okay. Now remember, this land reform dibuat oleh kerajaan, the government yang mengaturkan. Okay, set a limit on the amount of land that can be owned by wealthy owner. So maknanya setiap orang ada limitation. Okay, there are limits on how much land they can get. Okay, berapa besar tanah diorang boleh dapat. Okay, diorang dah boleh dapat ambil tanah tu suka-suka hati. Okay. Now, if there are extra land, okay, diorang boleh bagi ke arah farmer yang langsung ada tanah. Okay, so they give land to the poor, landless farmer who are very poor. Okay, that's all for this lesson. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.